Hey, my name is Gayatina and in this video I'm going to give you my January wrap-up part 1. We're in a slightly different location because it's early in the morning and I wanted some daylight because that tends to look best on my camera. So here we are in my kitchen and I'm going to film my January wrap-up in 3 parts. It is not quite the end of the month yet as I'm filming this, but if I end up finishing something else this month, I will add it to the last wrap up because I'm going to film it in 3 parts is my thinking. But it's almost the end of the month and I find it not likely that I'm going to finish any book anytime soon. So today I'm going to talk about 7 books. How many books I'm going to talk about in each part is not exactly all the same, because some books I have more to talk about than others, and I also divide it a bit depending on what kind of books they are, but they are in the order that I read them in. And I was also reading another book at the same time. That'll come in part 2. So the first book that I finished in January is Blueberry Muffin Murder by Joanne Fluke. This is book 3 in the Hannah Swensen series. I read this together with my friend Sarah. We've been reading a book of this series each month. For her they are rereads, for me they are new to me reads. I read the first book of this series in November last year, 2021, and the second book in December, and so in January we read the 3rd book. This is a cozy mystery series. Our main character is Hannah. She owns a shop called The Cookie Jar. She loves baking. In this book there is the yearly winter carnival that's coming up in the town that Hannah lives in, Lake Eden. And in honor of that day, the town has invited this celebrity who's going to make a big cake. The celebrity is called Connie Mack, and fairly early on in the book, the celebrity, Connie Mack, gets murdered. So Hannah meets this celebrity and Connie is just not a very nice person, but then she gets murdered, and the thing is the murder happens in Hannah's shop, so the police declare her shop a crime scene, obviously, and so Hannah can't use her shop for a while. So she, in this case, wants to solve the murder because then she can use the shop again, if that makes sense. Here is the synopsis on the back. And this was another fun cozy mystery with some fun twists. I didn't guess who'd done it until quite close to the end. Though obviously my friend Sarah, who'd read it before, she remembered, so for her it wasn't hard for her to guess it because she read it before. But yeah, I'm just finding this a fun cozy mystery series. And every book it's really nice again to see all the characters, and yeah, I look forward to see how, because this is a long series and it's still ongoing, so I look forward to see how things are going to develop and stuff. Yep. The next book I finished in January is Cabin Fever, book 6 in Diary of the Wimpy Kid by Kinney. This was a reread for me. I've read this book before from the library, but now I read my own copy, and I read this while I was sick in bed. Well, not sick, but I was feeling unwell from some side effects from my booster, which get vaccinated if you can. I am just very sensitive and I get side effects every time, but it's worth it. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted just an easier to read book, if that makes sense, and I actually first read half of another book and then I read this book and then I finished that other book because I was just... But anyway, this is book 6 in the series, although you can read the So here is the synopsis on the back. Although the synopsis on the back, kind of a thing that it mentions is something that happens a bit later on in the book, but you know, it is kind of in the title and the picture on the front. So this is a kid's book. It has nice illustrations. I've talked about this series, I think, on my channel before. So, but it was a nice book to reread when, you know, I didn't have lots of brain power, and a reread can then be comforting. The next book I finished is Himouto, Umaru-chan, volume 11 by Sankakuhead. And so yeah, I actually read half of this and then my brain couldn't quite, I guess process, because this is a manga pictures, so then I switched to Cabin Fever. But anyway, this is volume 11 in the series. There's 12 volumes in total, but there is an extra volume which I think is called like G1 or something on the back of mine, but it's over there somewhere. So yeah, this continued the series. Yeah, I enjoyed it. This series is about Umaru, who is a different person at school than she is at home. Anyway, yeah, I'm tired and I would refer to earlier videos in which I talked about this. But we also have Umaru's big brother. Two of them live together. Her brother works, she's in high school. At home she kind of turns into this lazy person, but at school she is acting all perfect kind of thing. This is her best friend, her name is Abina. And yeah, I really enjoyed this volume. I kind of don't want the series to end, so that's why it took me a while to pick this one up. But yeah, not lots left now. Then I fancied reading something in Dutch, because I am from the Netherlands and I like to read in both Dutch and in English. Yeah, and so I picked Redt by Mirjam Oldenhave. I picked this book up at a library sale at some point. Here's the synopsis on the back, although it's in Dutch, so. And this is about a boy who saves a person's dog, and then they find him a hero. Well, the synopsis on the back says Jory, that's the main character, the owner of the dog would like to give him a reward, but Jory's friend Bart is in trouble, so he wants to help his friend. Yeah, it's really only a very short book, and the font is quite big, as you can see. It's a children's book. It's definitely meant for like more younger children and children who are just learning to read. So after every chapter, there is like a summary page with like illustrations and smaller bits of text that summarize what happened in that chapter. And the sentences tend to be shorter. But anyway, I liked it. I didn't realize when I bought this though that there are other books in this same Doorlezers series. And some of those feature some of the same characters. So like if you want like a separate part of this same world and story, you gotta read some of the other ones. That's kind of where it ends. So it's a, yeah, I don't know, I would call it cliffhanger, but yeah. Anyway, this was nice, and I wouldn't mind finding the other books at some point. But my library hasn't had a sale in a long time. I didn't find this book at my library, but yeah. So we'll see. I tend to get on a bit better with books that are meant for older children, rather than books that are meant for younger children. But yeah, it was still a nice read. Then I read Diary of Dorkius, Maximus in Egypt. This is book 2 in this series. This was a reread for me. I read the Dutch translation before from my library, and this is my own copy. Although I wasn't able to find a new copy of this, so that's why this is why it's got like this plastic around it, because this is an ex-library copy that I got secondhand from a library, not a Dutch library because they don't do that here, but I think it's a British library. But nowadays I can't buy anything anymore from there unless I pay lots of import tax because rules change. But anyway. Oh, this is by Tim Collins. I didn't even say that, I'm sorry. This is historical fiction. This is about our main character Dorkius, who lives in ancient Rome. In this book he goes to Egypt. Now here's the synopsis on the back. And this is the first book, which I reread. Well, I don't remember when, but sometime in the past while. I don't know if it was in 2021 or not, but and this is some of what it looks like. So in this book, Dorkius gets to go to Egypt, although why he gets to go there has something to do with the first book and what happened then. And yeah, this was another nice read, or reread I should say. This one page is a bit loose, which it came like that. I think I didn't do that, but well, I'm glad to have a copy of this anyway, because this took like 6 months to get here for some reason. I think it got lost in the post, and then, so yeah, I don't know, but yeah, this was I bought this a while ago. Anyway, we're going to the next book, because I don't intend for this video to be very long. And well, the next book is really the last 2 books, because they are both in the same series. So we have The Terrible 2, book 1, The Terrible 2, by Barnett, Jory, illustrations by Cornell. This was a reread for me as well. I read the book in Dutch from my library a few years ago, and now I read my own copy of it, which is in English. So this is book 1 in this series, and this is about Miles and Niles. So Miles he has to go to a new school, and at his old school they knew him for his pranks, and so at his new school he also wants to be like the school prankster, but his new school already has a prankster. Here is the synopsis on the back. I thought, to be fair, only this bit is the synopsis and these are like quotes. So this was a reread for me, and I really enjoyed rereading it. So this is The Terrible 2 Get Worse, which is book 2 in the series. And this was also a reread for me. I read book 2 after I read book 1 in January. But I originally read book 2 from the library first, and then I found book 1 in the library, and then I read that. So when I read these 2 originally, when I read the Dutch translations, I actually read book 2 first, because I don't think I knew that it was book 2 when I borrowed it, or I don't even know. And then I read book 1. So it was nice now to read them in the right order, because it does make more sense that way, although things are explained enough that I wasn't confused, but it was just nice to read them in the right order. And then there are 2 more books in this series that are new to me, but I haven't read those yet. My library didn't have them at the time, and well, I bought my own copies, so I want to read my own copies, English ones, but I haven't read books 3 and 4 yet, but I would like to do that at some point this year, now that I've reread these 2. And well, the synopsis of book 2 has something to do with the headmaster, whose name is Principal Barkin. Also, he's the principal, not headmaster. I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe headmaster is the English term, or British term, and then principal is English, is American, or yeah. So yeah, these 2 were great rereads, and I enjoyed reading. That was part 1 of my wrap up. There will be parts 2 and 3 as well. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you had a good reading month in January, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!